So no startup screen this time. It's interesting. I can never figure out when that startup screen is actually going to pop up. I think it's, I don't know, when you turn it off or when you turn it on. But anyway, this is day 2 of that Hyundai Palisade review. And I got it on a little bit of a road trip. Did some store visits today. And what are my impressions? Initial impressions. America, watch out. This is a warning shot. I honestly don't know how the American car companies are going to be competitive. Like, I've rented, an Explorer now, a couple other GM products, and a couple other Ford Expeditions, and it's, I'm kind of like at a loss of words here, because like really what's coming out of Korea today, I think it's kind of like how it was back in maybe the 80s when all the Japanese cars started coming over. Their quality was really good, and I think they probably undercut even the American car companies in price, and they kind of took over. And so really, like, even quality wise, like, this thing is not, it's not bad. I did do some research last night because I was trying to figure out, what trim package this was, and it is, I believe, the SEL, so it's not the cheapest one, but it's pretty base. And with that, I think there are a couple things that I don't think I would, I still probably would, it's not a vehicle for us, but as a lease, maybe. But I think I would upgrade to the SEL Premium. That's one I would recommend for people to get, is the SEL Premium package. There's a XRT package in there, which is kind of, I think, just more for appearances. But let's go ahead and start it up, and I can show you kind of what I mean. There we go. Nice little system check. All's good. Sitting at about 19,000 miles now. So kind of indicative of what wear and tear would be like after about a year of owning this vehicle. And really not bad. But really, like, after doing some of that research, I did come across a couple little fun, interesting things. And I was right, this is not configurable in these lower trim packages. So that's one of the reasons, like, you can live with this. I drove it all day today. It was fine. I don't think that's necessarily the reason, like, why you should upgrade to like a higher trim package in this, but you do get a few other nice goodies. It is kind of a bigger price jump. I think it's about $4,000 or $5,000 between the SEL and then the SEL Premium package. However, those niceties are really kind of nice to have, and I think we've kind of gotten accustomed to them. And one of the big things is these fake leather seats. They're kind of like they're vinyl at the end of the day. It's not leather. It's made to like look like a leather, but it is more durable than cloth, a little bit nicer to, looks wise. But on a hot summer day, and it wasn't that hot today, they can get a little bit sticky. So on that SEL Premium package, you actually get ventilated seats, which is nice. You get like an upgraded dash that's more configurable, some kind of fun goodies, like I think it's like a blind spot monitoring thing. I'll put like a little camera image there for you. And so of the packages, I don't think you need to necessarily upgrade all the way to like I think their top of the line is like a calligraphy package, and then maybe there's even one above that, calligraphy nightshade or something. But I don't think you necessarily need to upgrade to that one, or even pay that kind of money. It's in the 50s. But for the your everyday needs, I think the SEL Premium package is definitely a good option. And let's go ahead and go through a couple other things. Design wise, I definitely feel that they did add some design to this. However, one thing with the Korean manufacturers, I have noticed they are pretty good at replicating things. So if you look at like the design, like in the Genesis, it does kind of look like a Bentley, like a knockoff Bentley a little bit. But at the end of the day, if the design is out there and it works and people do like it, then why not flattery is kind of like, what is it called? What is that stupid phrase? Not mockery is the best, like, I don't know. I'll look it up. But what I'm trying to say is, if that design already works out there, people gravitate towards it, why not include some of those elements in your own? You don't need to recreate the wheel. People like it. Even like this here with this touch button gear selector, I'm getting a little bit of even elements from Honda. Even like here with this like long dash here, or the vent controls for your heating and cooling. That's a little bit kind of Honda-esque, but even kind of, I think Audi maybe, to look it up, kind of has a little bit in their design language too. But overall, it's not a bad space to be. There are a couple things that, and it could just be that this has been, it's a 19,000 mile rental, so a lot of people have been using it. They're not always the most well maintained, and some of the controls, and again, I don't know if this is indicative of Hyundai or Kia or even Genesis quality. They take a couple times to actually end up engaging or doing what you're asking it to do. One of the things here was this, like, so I hit it, there it goes. So it's things like that where that's distracting at the end of the day. And also, this is a 2023, so it's only about a year old. And those are the kinds of things that should not be requiring multiple inputs to end up engaging. And so why I do love buttons, because typically, at least you're not relying on just your screen here. Things like that should be not breaking, or at least not lagging after only just a year. Maybe if this isn't I think the manufacturer date was like November 2023, but we'll give it, it was basically manufactured about a year ago. Should not be going out. One of the other things too that I noticed was, like, here on the screen, it was a little bit laggy compared to, and again, so you hit it, there it goes, cancel. It was not like as fast as previous Hyundai products I've rented or reviewed in the past. And so even like that, I don't know if it just maybe requires like a system flash or something from the dealer, but those are things that, again, you just bought this thing brand new, or maybe bought it like slightly used, it's only a year old. And so why are things not as crisp and working as fast as they should from like fresh off the factory? And of course, things are going to age over time, but it's only been a year. So those are kind of my only my major gripes. Some of the controls are feeling a little tired, I guess, or they're not just as responsive as like I feel they should be. But then also another thing I noticed too was while all this looks really great and wonderful, some of the like just the driving dynamics, I think that's where they do some of the cost savings actually with Hyundai. This is just only comes in a V6, which is nice. No turbos, no none of that, and which actually I think is good. Less things to break. However, the suspension on it, it's very clunky. I guess that's the best word. Like, so when you hit like a pothole, you really hear like that coming through the car. And when we go outside, we can check the tires, because that's one thing to always like watch out for. Like, if your tires are, as they wear, like the ride quality ends up the ride quality ends up getting reduced. So you're going to feel like more of those like road imperfections. And it's also an easy fix too. Like if you, instead of, it's not always going to be like you need new shocks or anything like that. And it really can make your car feel newer if you go ahead and if your tires are starting to wear and you need to replace them. It was one of those things on that Mercedes GLC we rented a few weeks ago, that the tires, like, especially on the fronts, they were so worn, and you could feel it, like, really impacting the ride quality. So that was one of the things I noticed, that it's just like it would clang through, like you could feel it, like every single bigger pothole, all that like reverberation through the car. What else? So the Hyundai Palisade, give a little bit of brief history about it, where it sits in the lineup. So after doing some research, I honestly thought that this was a much bigger vehicle. I thought it was maybe like their full-size offering. It's not. It's actually more competes with like the Ford Explorer, so it's a 3-row mid-size SUV. And honestly, we'll go back there in a bit, but I think it's packaged better. You know, dimensions-wise, I think it's actually a little bit smaller. If you get out your ruler and you start, you know, measuring everything than the Ford Explorer. But from crawling back there, I don't think it feels much smaller. Actually, I think it feels a little bit more bigger, or a bit larger. And I think also it has to do with like the roof line in that Ford Explorer. It sloped down a bit, so you lost some headroom in the back there. This is more, you know, straight. But the Hyundai Palisade midsize SUV starts in the mid-30s, undercuts the price of the Ford. And that's what I mean, like, America, watch out. Like, you already get like this massive touchscreen, which again, I'm not the biggest fan of screens, but if you're going to put them in, might as well put the big one in. And that little dinky thing from like Ford that maybe 8 inches, we couldn't tell. Was it 8 inches? Who knows? Was just unacceptable, especially in that limited edition. Limited to, you know, we're going for, you know, in the 40s, which would be kind of maybe comparable to SEL premium trim, or, you know, maybe something a little bit higher here on the, you know, Palisade. But this is a pretty base model. You get this huge screen here, and new, it is fairly responsive. And the other thing is too, you get tons of vehicle safety, call them vehicle safety aids. So you do have lane keep assist, you have adaptive cruise control, which works at all speeds, which is very nice in stop and go traffic. Also has this like nice little feature, so it will let you know if, you know, you're at stop and go traffic and the car starts to pull away. It will give you like a little warning that the car in front of you is pulling away in case, you know, you zoned out because you're in stop and go traffic. And that is a nice little feature, and it's all standard, which is so nice. And that's again like why, like, especially GM wake up, that is so cheap how you don't include adaptive cruise control in your Suburbans, your Denali. Yeah, Denali had it, but like the Suburban, what else did we have? That Buick thing. It's just unacceptable. And I think that was even like a Premier Suburban too, and it didn't have adaptive cruise control. That Cadillac didn't have adaptive cruise control. It was like ridiculous. Like, this is a Hyundai, and Cadillac is your premium brand GM, and you don't even have like, you know, basic things that this like basic, you know, base model Hyundai, you know, has. It's wild to me. So let's go ahead and go through some of these features on this base model Hyundai. So you have this nice, again, giant touchscreen here. If you go ahead and scroll over, it's nice and, you know, swipes, pretty easy to use. A nice crisp map. Another thing too, Ford, take a note, you can actually navigate, you know, with your, and these are not my addresses, so don't try to go find me, but let's go here to like, there you go. Pretty simple, pretty easy. It's table stakes now. So at that, these things are being included standard.
Your route guidance will start now.
Oh, look,
turn left and then turn right.
We don't want to do that. So we'll go ahead and figure out how to cancel route, nice and easy. Whereas on Ford, it was a subscription, or you had to download something. And again, I'm not getting this fresh from the dealer, so maybe you did have to download something, or, you know, they did it for, you know, Avis, but it's again a base model, and it's here. It works. It's not telling me I need to subscribe to something that get features that should be basic. Navigation menu. But again, this is what I mean, like where it's a little bit laggy. So we go back. Phone. You know what that is. Phone projection. There's your Apple CarPlay. A voice memo function, so you can, I don't know, if someone's cutting you off and you need to be a Karen or something, and like you need to like record the license plate, and you have time to scroll through all this, you can go ahead and record things. Or if you want to, like, you know, practice your, you know, singing, maybe you got 128 megabytes to, like, you know, listen to your own voice. If we go over here, another big thing I really do like actually about this was the climate functions. It's still mainly all physical buttons. It's dual zone. I believe even in the very base model, you get dual zone climate control, which is nice. And again, just another kind of just like nice base feature that you're getting here in a Hyundai, versus, you know, what you get like in the domestics. and even some of the Japanese, I don't think that they include like dual zone climate control as a base feature either. But what's nice too is when you click on that, is that you have your controls here, but then you also have controls here for both. It's nice and slides. You can adjust up and down, but again, if this were to all go out, you can still adjust your temperature. You can still defrost your windshield, in the winter. You can still, defrost your rear window. It's a fun word to say, rear window, in the winter. You're not reliant just on this here to like adjust controls for you. So that is a big plus for me. And again, another thing that for the things that you have to drive, that, granted, you don't need air. I'm sure going to get in the comments, you don't need air conditioning to drive, but you know what I mean? Like things that are like, going to, impact your ability to drive in a safe manner, then those things should be a physical button. So we'll go ahead and go back. Again, it's pretty intuitive. There's a valet mode, so basically it'll like reduce like a lot of the functionality and like lock out, personal settings. If you do valet your Hyundai Palisade, there's a quiet mode. You can go ahead and read that. Rear climate, it's kind of nice too. So basically there is a rear climate button. So again, you have secondary controls here, or these can be your primary, these can be your secondary, however you want to view it. Again, nice to have those secondary and primary, duplicative, functions there. Radio buttons, setup. So vehicle. Again, this is what I mean with that laggy thing. Then see, look at this. That's not good. That, I think this thing needs like some sort of like maybe like restart, or maybe it's a software reflash or something. But I would hope that's not indicative of future life with this thing. But there you go. Let's go ahead and go into vehicle. So it's kind of nice in here too. What I first thought, I was so confused. I was like, I don't think you can adjust anything. Like, you can't, your lane keep assist or any of these like other kind of like, even just like the sensitivity of everything. I was like, well, it's fun to have this like cool picture, I guess. But that was a little bit not intuitive. So you need to like actually hit that. And then you can go ahead and go through these menus here. Highway driving assist, highway auto speed change. I found like, once I figured this out, I definitely unchecked that. That's kind of annoying. Basically, it will go ahead and reduce your speed down to the speed limit, which, yes, safety first. Yes, be a law-abiding citizen and driver. But when you're going with the flow of traffic and then it automatically just adjusts your speed down, it can cause an accident, or at least just like annoy the hell out of you. So I definitely turned that off. There's a speed limit warning. So if you're, it does keep track of like, right there, you can see it there on the screen. There's this little tiny icon for your speed limit. It'll give you a little bit of a warning if you're going over, I'll show you there, like, well, I'll show you there, but it'll be like red. And then some other like little assisting things. And again, this is all like in the base model, which I think is just kind of, wild that you get all this in a base Hyundai. And again, maybe in the secondary market, but you might have some problems like on resale. But I think these actually have like held their value pretty well, these and those Tellurides from Kia. And with that super long powertrain warranty, 100,000 miles, it's kind of like, okay, well, family might keep this like for the first like let's say they drive 12,000 miles a year, they keep it for 4 or 5 years, that's 48, 60,000 miles. There's still a good amount of warranty for that second owner to still feel comfortable. And I think they're transferable. I need to look at that. I'll look that up. If they're transferable, amazing. I think they should be. Yeah, they have to be. So you get some peace of mind there as that, second owner, which then adds value to, want to purchase this car in the secondary market. So we'll go ahead and go out of this. Some more driving safety things. What I just want to show here is just how much you get, like, again, in this like base model. It is just wild to me, except even blue light filter, cameras, like it's a lot. However, I still think this whole cluster thing, again, this works. It's fine. It gives you your basic information. There's like controls here, controls there. We'll get into that in a second, but it's very basic in this base model, and it works. It's fine. However, in the upgraded models, again, it's going to give you those digital representations of an actual gauge. It's going to give you that, again, it turns into this like circle for your blind spot. It's like a camera, almost vision, where if that is your miles per hour, then it turns into that. But it's probably your tach on your left, because that's less important information than your speed when you're driving generally. So I don't think, if you're going, if you want to sit, you don't necessarily need to upgrade to that SEL premium model. I think what you get here in this SEL trim works. I think the only other difference between the base model, which I think is just the SE, is you get the I'm not a scummy parent monitoring system here. So there's these little icons to let you know if little Susie or Davy or Johnny is sitting back there in the back seat and somehow you're so distracted that you forgot that you left your kid back there. So, which I think is just so bizarre. Like, if you're that distracted to like leave your kid in the back seat of your car, I don't think you should be driving. I don't think any driver's aid or anything to like warn you is going to make you safe to be out on the road with other drivers. Like, if you can't even know that your own kid's in the back seat, like, how do you just not know? That's weird to me. I digress. Anyway, this is fine. I was kind of complaining about when I first, got the vehicle last night, but after living with it for a day, it's fine. I don't think it's like, if that was the only thing that was like upgraded in that $4,000 difference, I would not spend $4,000 to have a different screen. The one thing I think is also kind of weird is that it does have these like paddle shifters. This is not a Maserati, it's a Hyundai. And you have paddle shifters. However, paddle shifters, it does make it easier to change gears. How often are you changing, gears manually in your Hyundai Palisade? If you think you're Mario Andretti or something, fine. It does give you a little bit more control when you're, in, poor weather or, in the snow, because I highly doubt you're taking this thing off road. So it's easier to like adjust the gears with paddle shifters than like something here. So I get, why they're there. It's more, I think, out of function, but also when you see paddle shifters, you kind of think of something more sporty. And so it's kind of just a little funny to me, I think. What else? So you have your gear selectors here. We went over most of all the functionality on this thing. The backup camera, it's pretty good, actually. Pretty nice and crisp. Way better. Way better than that Expedition. Expedition looked like something from like, I don't know, the 90s, like some sort of like old VHS camera or something. It was bizarre and just horrible. So this is much more crisp. And again, base model, when you get like, I think the SEL Premium or maybe the next package up, you get a 3D camera, which I don't think that's something else to break. But, and you have a neck, turn it, look, use your mirrors. But nice crisp camera. We'll go ahead and throw it back in drive. This all works pretty well. We'll throw it in park, not drive. Not gonna be like one of those people just crash their rental cars. But anyway, we're going to, like, we went over this. This here I think is actually very functional. I like it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drive modes. Very simple. Changes the transmission mapping for the most part. We'll probably start in a lower or a higher gear for snow, so you don't, spin out too much. You have a smart mode, which should basically just hopefully be smart. It's probably like an auto mode from like other manufacturers. They branded it as smart, but I think the really interesting thing, this is again a base model, kind of like Soccer Mom. Let's be real, it's a station wagon that's lifted. We've gotten away from like true SUVs of the past. It's a lifted lifted station wagon, but it has a locking center differential. So like that will really help you. Basically allows like the power to be split evenly between the front and rear when you lock that center differential. So if you do get stuck in the snow, I'm not going to go into a whole lesson on open differentials or anything like that, but it would allow you basically to have equal traction, equal power going to the wheels between the front and the rear. So that's a very good feature. I didn't see it on the Expedition. I thought that was just weird on a full-size truck-based SUV. It didn't have a locking, differential. That's a huge miss. So yeah, that's basically the front end. You have USB. It does not have wireless Apple CarPlay in this base, more of a base model. It's fine. Plug it in. It works. You do have a wireless charging pad there. Nice big center console here. Materials feel okay. It's a little plasticky. It's a funny material there. This is a little hard. I wish that was a little bit better, but this is soft touch. And yeah, let's go and check out the back seat, do a little walk around, and wrap this up. So the back of a Hyundai Palisade, it's not bad. I think it's similar, if not more roomy than the Ford Explorer. You have your climate control functions back here. I think on the more upgraded models, you do get some heated seats, cup holders. Again, okay materials. It's not a Range Rover, but it definitely, I feel like, with kids and like their sticky fingers and stuff, and putting stuff everywhere. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. I did not notice that. That's actually kind of a nice little piece of engineering there to have like your USB charging ports there in the seat. So you have two there, charging output, or 12 volt down there, double cup holders there in the seats. And yeah, room for, I would not put 3 people back there. I don't think you can. Is there 3? I think it's just made for 2. This is just a 6 person. And then you got a nice little pocket there. Kids can keep their own little snacks back there, but really it feels bigger back here, and that's maybe just a personal thing than like the Explorer did. But overall, not bad. Maybe also this interior does help a little bit. Granted, like the Explorer I had a lighter interior, so it should feel more airy, but I think it's also the headroom out back here too, definitely does help. So let's go and do like a quick little walk around outside and wrap up this review on the Hyundai Palisade. All right, walking around this Hyundai Palisade, you have these nice LED lights. These are actually your headlights here on the Hyundai Palisade. And then this nice kind of LED daytime running lamp. And I believe these here are your turn signals. So a little interesting design. Usually you think your headlights are more up here, but they did them down there. Big Hyundai grille. Basic rims, they work. What's interesting too is this color actually. Typically you don't see this kind of eggplanty, purpley red. Cars are pretty much all gone to a white, gray, or black. This one came from Florida. There's your 8 track for your all-wheel drive. Nice kind of silver door accents, nice trim there. Nice silver trim there on the, what do you call that? Let's call it the bottom of the door for now. It's been a long day. But even up above, you have that nice trim for your roof rack-ish. I don't think it has a top. Nope. But it's probably some add-on you can get from Hyundai. But overall, it's a very handsome-looking vehicle. And again, you got some nice, LED. It's interesting. It's not just a, basic light for your turn signals there on the mirrors. But again, Hyundai has come such a long way that I really think unless the American companies can get a little bit more competitive, they're in trouble. All right, wrapping up this review of the Hyundai Palisade. Again, overall, I did enjoy it. I think it's not nearly, it's not bad. It's a good choice for a family. And, it's in that kind of, $40,000 is still a lot of money, for a vehicle. That's, get up to definitely over $500, $600 a month car payments with today's interest rates. And, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow. Like, is this worth $600 a month? You know, that's all dependent on you and your own budget. I don't think it's worth $600 a month, but on a lease, if you can get that, then, you know, that's, you know, could be a really good option for you. And, or if you pick it up used, you know, just make sure you have enough of that warranty to get, you know, cover you out, because some of those little naggy little things, like with the buttons not working on the first time or the screen getting a little laggy, those are things you're going to have to live with. And especially once that warranty runs out, you really will have to live with it. And then it's going to impact, again, that resale value if you do choose to sell it again. And that's going to be a tough sell. So that is a review of a Hyundai Palisade. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think American car companies are in trouble too? Or do you think, you know, they can remain competitive with what they have? And we will see you in the next one.